You're all having a fantastic day. For those of you who are coming back to watch this over again, welcome in. I'm going to get started because I've just got a lot of climbing to do. What I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and finish the grinding out for blade show. And I've got 9 ADCR-V2 blades left to do it here. They're in the heat treated stage, and I'm just going to run them. So we're starting with a 120 grit on surface grinder. We've got a Huntsman, a Walkabout, an Adventure, a Tribute, a Revelation, a Hawk, a Rambler, an Adventure Junior, and a Mantis. That's what we've got. And then I've got some Signature Series blades as well. Ouch. All right. Here we go. What we're doing right this minute, making sure they're nice and flat. Set you even farther back over here. Nice, see, I just keep turning around the table over here. Walkabout. Adventure. tribute. Revelation. This is a hawk. Rambler. Adventure Junior. One more and we'll do something more interesting. And a mantis. What's up, everybody? I'm Jacob with the Very Good Knife Company. You've stumbled into me having a grinding session today. I'm trying to get prepared for blade show, and this is the last of my blades that I have left to grind. Ready to get started on handle work, and I'm not quite there yet until I got these guys caught up. So we've got a huntsman, a walkabout, an adventure, a tribute, a revelation, a hawk, a rambler, an adventure junior. Here's Here's the full-size Adventure. Here's the Adventure Junior. You can see the size difference is not a whole bunch. It is a good bit narrower. The biggest difference is the stock thickness on the regular Adventure is 3/16 and the Adventure Junior is 1/8 inch. And last but not least, a Mantis. Now, all of these are similar in that they are all flat grinds. When I do finish grinding, I like to do birds of a feather. And the reason is hollow grinds are done on a round contact surface. Flat grinds are done on a platen, a flat plate. So I don't want to be switching back and forth attachments if I have a whole bunch of different stuff to do. So I've already done all the hollow grinds. I've already done all the other stuff that I need to do. This is all that remains, minus the 3 signature series. And if I have time, then I'll do them on here in just a little while. So what you've just seen me do is take them from a rough heat-treated finish like this to a nice flat 120 finish. This is not the final finish. This is the last of the rough finish. In fact, 120 is the start of the fine finish. So we've got a 60 grit belt on here. Now I go back that coarse because I want to raise the cheeks up to where I want them and make sure that the edge is close. And the 100 grit, after we do the 60 grit, we'll do the 120. And that we will make sure our edge thickness is where we want it. So let's get started with the 60 grit. And this goes relatively quick because this is pretty coarse and I'm not doing a whole bunch. So start bending. Crack it up so I can see the edge. Now, so I don't overheat them and I don't want to dunk them because these are carbon steel. I really want to avoid getting them wet. And since I've got others, I'll just do one side and move on. Let it cool. back to the top. form quick. All right, we got some folks in here now. So, what's up, everybody? So you've stumbled into me having a grinding session, and I've just finished with the 60 grit. Now, up next is a 120 finish. Before we move on to that, we're actually going to go ahead and finish the sides of the knife out all the way to 400 grit. Now the reason I do it like this is because this 60 grit will leave a fuzz above the line because of the coarseness of the belt. And the 100 grit does not, the 120. As long as you are precise with your, hitting your marks. The thing is, I don't want to have to go back and forth 10 times. I have to go back and forth enough. So what I'm looking to do is get my edge thickness and cheeks, the grind lines, as close as possible. And then I will go ahead and finish the sides and then finish the bevels. And it's easier than going back and forth one at a time. So now we're going to move back over to the surface grinder. And we're going to swap this 120 out with a 220. Got a tickle. Swap this 120 out with a 220 and give them a run again. This will take a little bit, not forever, but not quite as fast as that. So, stick with me, guys. Let's finish these sides out nice and pretty. Here's a mantis. See that 220 is pretty good looking. We go a little further. Run through all of them. Adventure Junior. Rambler, getting shiny. Clean our plate off. a hawk. Pretty quick. Revelation. Tribute. Adventure. Walkabout. Alright, that was the last one for the 220. I'm not even going to take it off the magnet because the adjuster is already set up for that thickness. So I'm just going to go ahead and run it right to a 400, and I'll show you in just a second. Now we'll go in reverse order of what we just went. is a final finish on the sides. 400 grit, pretty dang nice, right? Quite shiny. Our walkabout. Adventure. Tribute. Revelation. Here's the hawk. Rambler. Adventure Junior. One more. So that last one we just did was a mantis. Everything is finished through 400 grit on the sides. Now we do the bevels. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into that. We'll go 120 and then 220 and then 400. All the way up. Right here, right now. The 120 and the 60. You see the difference. Thanks, bud. That's all for the 120. Now we'll move on to the, this one got rashed a little. See that little rash? I'm gonna fix it right quick. It's gonna irk me to the death. I'll never be able to unsee it. There we go. There we go. All right, now that's all for the 120. Let's go 220. We'll slow the belt speed down just a little. I'm gonna go ahead and clean my plate. This plate is full of melted thread from the backing of the belts, and it'll leave indentions, and I'm starting to notice it, so good time to clean it. Here we go. Now that belt is extra floppy, and you can kind of see the gap in between right here. I'm gonna try and get some of that out because that's gonna leave a smile. I'm gonna go around the entire belt and break it in, making it crunch. Try and get the curl out because I don't want it to leave any smile on my grinds. All right, we're all the way around. Now you can see that that space that was just there, that was about like that, is pretty much gone now. It's still a little bit there, but with pressure, it will flatten out. Much better. Here we go. All right. One side. Shiny now, huh? No. Right. Adventure. Revelation. Go, it's one side. Gonna need a little more. It's hot. All right. So now, 400 grit, that's the final step. One more belt step. Now we'll only have 3 more blades, all signature series, to finish grind after this, and all of the blades for Blade Show are ready for handles. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the last belt, and go ahead and go around this entire thing and break it in for the same reason. I don't want any cup to leave me a smile on my grind. All right. Here we go. There's that bright and shiny 400 finish. miss my music. Keeps me motivated. Had a man who just played a He invited me digging, so I picked up my screen and a shovel today. Trading me fair for a bottle of wine. Brothers, barn mountain wine. We trudged through the snow, straight up the hillside. Turned 4 miles and went down to an overhang. Headed from the ridge line, bent our handles and bit in the ground. Dark and muddy ground. Tribute. Was a big friendly ground, but the one kept going. Moonshine flowing into the storm. Cause you can't hold a girl with a fistful shovel. Gotta find your fire and something corn. bits of bone. Well, then I heard Jesse yell o'er the pile he was sifting. Shook hills like angels calling us home. Yeah, back to come home. It was banded as hell, it was looted and cold. It was hot as a pistol, I kept on my time. And I was feeling prepared, I was broke ass and busted. Pulled out my pistol and took Jesse's life. There we go. Bad news travels like wildfire. Good news travels slow. They all call me wildfire. Everybody knows, hell, I'm bad news. Everywhere I go, hot. got a little warm, so I'm gonna set her down. Do the other side in a second. Go. Nice little swedge. Pretty sweet. Complete. That's all. I got a swedge to do on this Revelation, but I do that with the round contact wheel. Okie doke. One last little step here. And these guys will be done as well. And then we'll go and talk for a second. We'll go talk and look at what we've got. Because I got a bunch of blades. Jump to the 400 and knock that off. They tried to hang me in Oakland, and they did in Francisco. But I wouldn't choke, hell no, I broke that rope. Had to let me go, son, I'm bad news. Everywhere I go, always getting in trouble, leaving them girls that hate to see me go. All right, there's that pretty little swedge. And everything up to this point is finished. Everything else will get finished when I do the handle. All right, let's go look at some blades. Let's go look at some blades and talk a little. Come along, come along. Oh, no, no. So, that right there, was the end of a massive step. All right, so what I've got here, shit, I ain't even got room for everything. There's the mantis that we just did, walkabout. And now these are all carbon steel. That's why I'm gonna go ahead and spray them. Spray them real good with some oil. That way they don't try and rust up on me, because they will when they are nice raw steel and you put fingerprints on them, they'll rust. Without ever having had oil, they'll definitely rust. All right, see if we can fit these in here. So, this is exciting because I get to move forward now with my blade show prep, and we have taken another step out of the process here. I gotta find somewhere to put this huntsman because I'm out of space. I don't want to get another towel just for one. There we go. Okay, so here's what we've got on this bench. I've got a whole bunch of blades here to right here. These are all Nitro V. And then this guy is one you just saw us grind, the Huntsman. Everything's oiled up now. So earlier today, I finished ground all the hollow grinds. So this first strike, this is a lineman XL, and here's a lineman standard next to it. Here's a roughneck, and then a jack, a Mustang, a Falcon, a Hornet, and then a Tradition Junior, a Wasp, a Mosquito, and a Splicer. That's what I ground earlier today, and I'll show you what is left. All that's left, all that remains to be ground, finished ground, are these Signature Series, and I'm just gonna do these when I feel like it, once I've gotten some of the other stuff out of my way. So here is one of the Signature Series, got that big sweeping plunge line like the Revelation. It just looks really cool on this. This one I filed a grapevine pattern on the back, pretty sweet. Here's another Signature Series. This right here is 3/16 stock and a big deep hollow grind with a big giant swedge and a choil, sharpening choil. This one's gonna be pretty cool. The cream of the crop though has definitely gotta be this dagger. This guy right here I'm gonna finish probably first because I wanted this one, I really wanted this one to go to Blade Show no matter what. This one's gonna be cool, but needs to be finished ground. Now, everything else got finished ground yesterday. These guys are all going to Blade Show as well. This, I have not, I did have a name for this formerly in Bloodline. It was called the Cub. I never really cared for that. Cub standing for Compact Utility Blade. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it if I don't figure out something else. Something to rename this thing. But these are cool. These are all hollow ground and they're ground super thin. You can see there. And they look cool, all uniform. They're all in the same stage, 120 finish. And they're all going to get blasted like this. And then Cerakoted, they're going to get blasted. This one's blasted, but it got a little bit of rust on it just from me touching it. It's no worry, we'll just blast it again. But they're gonna get blasted and Cerakoted because they're ADCRV2, and I don't want them to corrode on me like that. I've got a Walkabout Gen 3 Nitro V. All these next ones that I have are Nitro V. These are all Nitro V right here, and these are all finished ground as well, to 120 because they're gonna get Cerakoted. I've got a First Strike with a High Saber flat grind. That Walkabout, got a Tribute. Now every one of these are gonna be Gen 3 Cerakoted. Got a Revelation. I don't make swords. I've tried my hand. I'm not terrible at it. I just don't enjoy it. Got an Adventure. A Hawk. A Tradition. A Falcon. A Hornet. Mustang. Rambler. A Adventure Junior. A Tradition Junior. A Mantis. A Wasp, and a Mosquito. All of those right there will be Generation 3. They'll all be Cerakoted. Some of them will be completely blacked out. Black Grip Tech, black Cerakote, and black screws. That'll be really cool. So all of these are Generation 3. No, they're not stamped. Yep. Cerakote and removable screws, removable handles. Yep, that's Generation 3. So these will all be Gen 3. And it's not going to become a standard. I'm not planning on like deleting the Gen 2 at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. It's just another option. So just because I want to. So all those Gen 3s. These are Gen 3s as well. There's some 30 some odd blades right there. And then the Signature Series. And then everything that I showed you over here on the bench. So, I want to say there's 69 blades total here. I would have to really nail that down. I know that there's 22 ADCRV2. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 24, 25, 6, 7, 8, 29, 30, and 16, 17, 30 and 17. And then 22, 30, 17, that's 47, that's 69. 69. So that's a lot of blades. That's a lot. I have some fat carbon that I'm going to do on a lot of them. Some black camo. I'm going to put this uni copper, some of this uni copper on the dagger. And then I've got some Forest Eye. I love this stuff. It's pretty cool. And some Mars Valley, Snowfire. There's a bunch in that box. That First Strike that got 10,000 views had this stuff right here. This is the Silver Space Coral, and it is killer. It's hard to see though. This would look cool on a Damascus knife with a lot of layers because it kind of looks like Damascus a little. It's pretty sweet. But I will be doing a whole bunch of fat carbon Gen 3s. I'll be doing runs of fat carbon Gen 3s because I got a massive amount of fat carbon. Thank you, John. All right. Some Nebula. And some Pines Peak. There'll be a piece of just about all this. Some Uni Copper. This is all 1/4 inch. So this is bigger knife stuff. This is Mars Valley. Snowfire. Jungle Wear. I'm gonna definitely use some of that. It's one of my favorites. 2 pieces of some snakeskin copper. This stuff's awesome. Let's see, we've got a this is the whiteout or white storm, I believe. Pretty cool stuff. That's new to me. I've not used that yet. Arctic Storm. Used that a good bit. Same with the Toxic Storm. Pretty sweet. This right here is the 3K Twill. I've used this a good bit as well. It's just shining because it's got a sheen over it. It's like a shellac over it. This is what it looked like when it's cleaned up, and this is a rough finish right here. But it'll look a little more clean than that, which is pretty sweet. But this is what it looks like with a shellac on it, like a clear coat. And then, this is why I'll be doing big runs. I've got a big sheet of Purple Haze Fat Carbon and a big sheet of either, I want to say it's Lava Flow or Mars Valley. It could just be Lava Flow. It looks like Lava Flow. Lava Flow and Purple Haze. So I'll be doing runs of the Gen 3 black with Fat Carbon. That'll be cool. That'd be real cool. What else? What else have I got going? Oh yeah, let's take a look at this. So not only will I be doing the Cerakote Gen 3 special stuff, but at Blade Show specifically, I'll have some Flat Dark Earth sheaths. I'll have some OD green sheaths, some gray sheaths. This is like a battleship gray. And then there'll be 1 or 2 of these. This stuff's really, really bright. I got this for something specific. The high vis was for worker knives, like the lineman knives, and the splicers as well. So I'll do 1 or 2 of those sheaths, not so much of those though. And then of course, I'll just have some regular black sheaths as well. But yeah, it'll be cool. There'll be some interesting and new micarta. I would also like a knife made out of my car. So we used to do a bunch of knives when we first started out of leaf springs, forging knives out of leaf springs. That was not enjoyable. Those were not good days. Looking back, they were just more of a pain in the ass and not much more beneficial than other things. Could have done other things. Because I'm not doing that now. There's a reason why I'm not doing that kind of stuff now. On a side note, that's some forge and fire nonsense. I ain't about that shit. I ain't swinging hammer all damn day. So I want to do, I've made a good bit of Damascus. A lot. I've made a lot of Damascus. You guys know, some of you know that I was, I had a gig at Two Jake's Knives for a long time, and we made our own Damascus. And I showed the forge and the hammer and the coal iron forge press, and all that good stuff in a video a long time ago, before we took off out of there. But I have 1 piece of Alabama Damascus, and I'm considering doing 1 signature series in this. It's small. It's a little dude, so it'll be a little guy. Do a signature series in Damascus. That'll be quite a special one. Maybe I'll just give that away. I don't know. Maybe not. Because that'll be the first VGKC with Damascus. Yeah, it's still just fine. She's been sitting in the scrap box for a long time. It's got that slag on it from being plasma cut, and we didn't use a plasma cutter for a very, very, very long time. I mean, the plasma cutter kind of something fell on the hose, and it ruined the hose. Well, a new hose was like $900 because it was some expensive Miller plasma cutter. All that slag. Now that's one reason why I don't like laser or plasma CNC. I'm just not a fan because it leaves all that slag, and it drives me nuts. You can knock it off. That's what I'm doing right now is knocking it all off. But this wouldn't be hard. I just need to go and grab me a bottle of ferric chloride. Yeah, I'm not, you know, plasma cutters have their place. They definitely have their place, and I don't think it's in the knife industry. We didn't have the plasma cutter for the knives. We had it for hot rods, doing hot rod stuff. It's definitely more suited for that, but I've got, here's a cool blade sitting in my old box. So this is the original First Strike. You can see there on the handle it says First Strike. Maybe you can see that. It's stamped in there. And this was my pattern for Bloodline. And it's a good bit different than the First Strike that we have today for a couple of reasons. The blade is pretty close, but it wasn't big enough. I wanted to add an extra about 1/2 inch, so I did. But other than that, the profile is pretty close to the same. You can see that this guard was angled and rounded and weird. It also had a choil. Not a fan. The handle was just not it. But I moved to what it is now, a straight across double guard. It's much easier and much cleaner when it's done the way I do it, which is right. It's got to be done right. But yeah, that's pretty cool. The original First Strike. Here's that First Strike I was talking about the other day ago that has been in the goof up box because I broke the tip off of it during heat treat. Waited too long to straighten it out, and then yada yada. But anyway, this one's got a big old fuller ground in it. You can't hardly see it because it's rusty, but it's a really deep fuller on both sides. It's pretty cool. What's up, Manny? How's it going, bud? We're just yabbering. I got through, I got finished grinding, so I'm just kind of taking me a break from the noise for a second. Everything is good, brother. Hope everything's good your way. So, we were just talking about blades, and it's June 6th, 7th, and 8th. The first weekend in June. I may be wrong about that. Maybe the first is on a Sunday or Friday or Sunday or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, I think it's the first weekend in June. The first full weekend in June, anyway. So, yeah, we stressing about it. It's going to be a lot. Getting through all this is been my biggest stress for sure. I mean, I don't want to show up to Blade Show with nothing. There ain't no damn reason to even be there if I don't have anything. I don't want to pull a, well, I'm not going to say anything. I can't say anything. But I got to show up. I got to show up and show up with something. Show up and show out. Go big or go home. So that's what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to show up with 100 knives. I don't think I'll show up with 100 knives. Maybe I'll show up with 100 knives, not 100 knives for sale. I'll just make up the difference with other things that I can show and talk about. But I still have some Eagles. I still have 3 blades over there. And I still have some Hawks as well. So those numbers count. With the Signature Series and everything, I think I'm somewhere around that 88, 89 blades. I told you if I wasn't at 100, I wouldn't fall short by much. So I will show up with 100 knives, and only about 80 or so will be for sale. Worst case scenario, I don't sell anything, and then I have a whole bunch of knives to do drops with. Nothing wrong with that. I'll be able to take plenty of time off, at least a week, or maybe even 2 weeks off after Blade Show entirely. I've got a whole bunch of orders, though. Check this out. I never made much of First Strikes, but now all of a sudden, I've got like 5 of them on my board over here. First Strike, First Strike, First Strike, First Strike. What the hell? And there's like 2 or 3 more in email that we haven't gotten like a go on yet. So, holy cow. And I don't have the steel for any of those. None. I only ordered 1 billet of steel to finish out what I needed to get finished for Blade Show. I just got a whole bunch of steel, and this is all that I have left already. Again, at least though I have some Nitro V, Sol Revelation, and Hawk stock. But I've been trying to come up with a new model. I just don't know what yet. I want to do like a big old recurve, big buoy. I don't know what yet though. So I've got some pieces of steel here that don't have a model that I need to use. And I haven't done that. All right, guys. I am going to have me some water, and then I'm going to go probably meet up with the missus. We need to run to Lowe's because I've got to get a table set up for the Cerakote in the back room so I can get it all out of here. I've got so much stuff everywhere, I'm running out of space and having to bleed out into other rooms. Anyway, I'm going to take off. I appreciate all your support. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you very much. I appreciate you more than anything in the world. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.